was I got an offer on my $2 million house, my $2
Nice.
million listing. So that was great. And then they're going to turn around and build another house of about at least that value. So that was
That's a
exciting.
nice way to start the year.
Yeah.
That's a huge congrats.
Yeah, we got a big win on our property out in Spicewood that we've had pending for about 4 months. We had actually let the buyers move in prior to closing because they needed a place to stay. And in the process of that, then they decided to demand mediation and want $600,000 off. So went through mediation last week, secured a third or a hard money lender to bridge them, and we'll be closing on the 29th of this month.
So they moved in and then they were demanding?
They moved in and then said we didn't disclose a bunch of things, basically because it was a new home. Nobody had moved in, and she's a litigation attorney, real estate
Oh,
litigation attorney. And so, they basically, well, y'all didn't disclose this. It's like it wasn't a non-disclosure because it's never closed. Non-disclosure only happens after it closes. And we tried to remediate and fix things. Well, that wasn't to their satisfaction, even though we were going above and beyond. But it was just a total money grab. So we went through mediation, came to an agreement, and we closing this month.
well, that is huge. And that's one of those horror stories why I never, ever, ever want. I mean, I know sometimes you can't avoid it, but I never want the buyers to move in first just because so many things can go wrong. That's insane,
Yeah,
Daniel.
definitely not best practices and in our business either.
No, it's not. But I mean, sometimes it's unavoidable.
Let's move on. Who else has a win?
They had a $400,000 non-refundable earnest money. So yeah, I was like, well, if it busts, at least we got 400 grand.
Poor Jacqueline. I think she's got trauma over that one. So
let's move
Yeah.
on. Let's move on.
okay, so last year, hard year, guys. 2024. I know I'm a broken record, but 2024, from a national standpoint, and Leo is speaking from the rooftops on this, was the hardest year in 35 years from real estate. And so I know we've had a lot, like all of our meetings every week and all of the things that we talked about. I mean, it was a struggle. So now that we're all past 2024, how are we feeling? How did you guys end up? Did anybody have a banner year? Did you have your best year? No?
I didn't have my best year. No, not yet. Perhaps
Okay.
this year.
We had a good year like it was before COVID. I mean, it was pretty consistent. It was a very challenging year for holding deals together.
Yeah.
But I mean, our numbers were not terrible. So
we had our second best year ever, and we've got our biggest pipeline ever heading into the year.
Yeah, so talk about that for a minute. So this normally we have speakers and stuff in here, but because this is our first year, like I would love for us to just kind of reset, regroup, figure out what we want to do moving forward or how we can all support. For y'all that are new here, we've got a lot of new faces and I love this. This is our Friday huddle. This is our national huddle. So everybody in our group is invited into this this huddle. Sometimes they'll see them on the Tuesday local ones, but we meet every single Friday. I'm really, really excited about next week, by the way. Next Friday, Leo Perea is coming in with us, our CEO. So do not miss that. That's going to be fire. But I think I was talking to Leo yesterday, actually, about something completely unrelated, but he is so fired up. And I said, why are you so excited? And he said, because the projections and everything that we're doing as a company, as an industry, like we're moving forward in a new direction. 2024 is behind us all. And so there's some real good momentum. And just like Brian, you're saying your pipeline, it's a little insane. I've got sticky notes everywhere where people are just kind of coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah.
So I think buyer confidence is coming back up. I think sellers are feeling a little bit more confident in moving or being more realistic from the conversations I'm having. They're listening to the comps a little bit differently. They're listening, taking our advice a little bit differently. So I'm optimistic for all of us, and we're just going to keep plugging in and showing up. And 7 listings, Jeannie, that's amazing. I mean, that's amazing.
It is.
So I really think it's going to be a better year. But I'm just excited for this new year because y'all are showing up. You're here. So first and foremost, thank you. Let's bring the fire. I also want y'all to tell me different topics and different content that you want to know about, because I'm going to do this a little bit different in the future. Oh, Stacy's on. Stacy is on. Stacy, I need you and Daniel to connect after this, pretty please. So I think Stacy's actually helping me too. We're trying to secure everybody up front every Friday with really great content. So we've got a good lineup that I think is going to give us all an advantage moving forward. So another few things too with AHA clubs, like those are popping up everywhere. We're going to have a list of those all over the country because y'all are all over the place. We've got 2 of them coming up in Houston on January 23rd. So all you people on here from Houston area or around, come to those. We've got some in New Hampshire coming up. Mark, we've talked about Jersey. So let's, put some plans in place. And if you're in those areas, definitely plug in. We had an amazing AHA here 2 days ago. Hey guys, those of y'all that attended that, I was thinking that could be helpful for one of these huddles. Do you agree?
Elizabeth, I was thinking exactly the same thing.
Okay.
That content was so like, it isn't the basics 101 how to hold your camera for a video. Abigail is just amazing at her
Yeah.
content of getting your head right before you get in front of the camera so that you're the most effective and deliver the kind of content that people really connect with. That's like next level. So I was thinking the same thing. I'm glad you brought that up. So yes, I think we
Okay.
should do that.
Memo, you thought it was good? I just called you out.
It was great. I did it in Spanish too.
I know. I walked in, I was like, there's Memo in Spanish. So I can't add much there, but I talked to Abigail yesterday and I know that that's something they're going to be doing. This was an in-person meeting we had on Wednesday, y'all. So let's schedule her then, because that was, I thought, really, really good and all the takeaways that I got from people were amazing. So I want to bring in tangible nuggets, things you can take away, implement immediately. So we're going to start doing that. So if there's other topics too and content you want to learn about, just reach out to me and say, hey, Elizabeth, this would be really interesting. And then we'll go find the right people to do it. Cool. I also want to bring in leadership more because I want you guys to know our leadership. So what's really cool is when I send a note to Leo, hey, Leo, can you come in? He's like, absolutely. Right. So we're going to have him only for about 30 minutes next week, but be prepared, write questions. What do you want to ask Leo? Like, you guys are going to have an intimate conversation with him. And so he's an open book. And so just, if you have a question you want or a comment for him, then make sure you come and be prepared for that. All right. So why don't we do some popcorn style here? What are some goals that you guys have set for yourself or things you want to accomplish that we can all hold each other accountable? I'm not going to call on anybody. I'm just going to let you guys popcorn and we can talk about maybe your top 3 goals or things that you want to do differently in the new year. But I would love for y'all to just unmute and jump in.
One of my goals is to do a podcast. So I wanted to thank you for getting us in touch with the Icon podcast group, because I'm working with them and I'm very excited about it.
Awesome. What's your podcast? Do you have a topic that you're going to focus on?
It's called the Posner Property Perspective, and why people are moving to Atlanta, about Dunwoody. I'm going to be interviewing the mayor of Dunwoody. We're interviewing one of the restaurateurs who's opened up 3 restaurants here in Dunwoody. Then I've interviewing, of course, like mortgage brokers and just different topics. So I'm very excited because I think that 28-year-old to 40-year-old, they're going to podcast and YouTube to learn. That's where they pick up their information. And I think I'm really excited, and they're very professional. And I'm so grateful that you put us together with them, because I had been researching all these different companies and they gave us a great discount because of you. So your relationship with them. So I'm really excited.
That's amazing. Well, keep us posted on when you launch that, and then we can all support you and go subscribe and do all the things. So that's awesome.
Have to interview you.
Do it. I mean, and I think you've got 70 people on here you could interview. You got a lot of content right there. That's the other thing. Leverage each other and use, lean on each other, because we all have different experiences and different stories, and stories, they connect people. So that's awesome. Good for you.
Jeannie, as soon as you're ready, I will do a podcast with you ASAP.
Okay, that's Matthew. Okay.
Yeah, so Matt has a podcast, and funny story. I'm gonna call him out on this.
It's a
As
great
his
story.
he had me as his guest a couple weeks ago, and it's two of them. It's two Matts and a Mike is their podcast, which is pretty fun. It's Matt Kemps and then Matt the lender. And I'm sitting across from them, and they're just asking. We're just having conversation. They're recording this whole thing, and I'm sitting across from them, and I see both of their faces, and they're looking at each other, and I'm like, I'm sitting here going, "We're live," and I don't know, did my button come undone? Like I could not, everything was going through my head because of their faces, right? There, what they saw right next to me on the drape was like a cockroach, like this big. And I mean, y'all, this thing was huge, and evidently Matt saw it scurry across the floor before, and he didn't say anything. And then all of a sudden, he sees it right next to me. He's like, "Oh my gosh, it's gonna fall on her. She's gonna freak out, or something like that." This thing was massive, and so I was like, "Well, no, cockroaches are one thing, but at least it wasn't a mouse." And so then it disappeared, and so the whole rest of the podcast, we're all like trying to be professional, have this conversation, but we're all looking for this cockroach.
And this
And
thing
then
was not,
finally,
it was huge.
y'all, it was huge. Finally, Matt gets up. It's all on video. This is all recorded. It's hysterical. Matt gets up. He's like, I can't. He's got this shoe and he's okay. Oh my gosh, it was the funniest thing. So, Jeannie,
And
his podcast might be a little bit more creative, but anyway.
yeah, we didn't edit any of the cockroach death was not edited. You can see the whole thing, and you can see in the cockroach actually pops up. It goes. You can see in the video like right underneath Elizabeth's arm, like right here.
Yeah.
It is.
It's pretty funny. So anyway, but yeah, podcasts, those are going to be huge, I think. And so if you guys want to be in a podcast, what we'll do in the tribe group and workplace too, once y'all that have podcasts set up and you want guests, put it in there and have all of us just kind of raise our hand. And if you've never been on a podcast or you're nervous about being a podcast, I'm just going to encourage you. That's where growth happens. Just do it. It's just a conversation. It's not that scary. It's actually a lot of fun. So let's do more of those. Who else?
I'll be
No.
building my channel for living in North Austin. It's going to be more topics on Austin, Texas itself, pros and cons, different topics. Then I built out my entire content calendar entire year using ChatGPT. So now I'm sticking to that. It's all on my calendar. If it's not on my calendar, it's not going to be done. So I'm filming 2 videos a week that'll be going live on that channel.
Awesome. Nice. Who else has some goals that Mark unmuted?
So I have a goal. So it's Mark. I'm up here in New Jersey. Good morning. I'm going to double down on my database. Last year, good year. I think I did about 60 homes, 17 million up here. So it was a good year for us. But I really feel like I could be doing more with my database on social media. Like I rarely post. Maybe I post like maybe twice a month. And I told myself what I'm going to do for the first 30 days of this year is I'm going to post either on Instagram, Facebook Business, or LinkedIn at least once a day, 5 days a week. And I'm going to post things that are more educational, like things about, how to buy down your interest rate, or what's a 2-to-1 buy down for mortgages, or how to do, a renovation loan, how to buy your first investment property, things that I think that a lot of people want to do, like my database, in other words, that maybe they're just, they don't trust the content they're getting online. So that's kind of one of my goals, to really teach my database and kind of see if I can generate more referrals from them, because that's typically where our business comes from.
Love it. Love it. The other thing to keep in mind too is if you guys are still familiar with Clubhouse, every morning, Monday through Thursday on Clubhouse, Mark has been really involved in that too. We have the Tribe Power Up for Realtors on there. So if you guys are, what time is that your time? 9 o'clock Eastern, Mark?
So it's 9 o'clock, Eastern time. I only teach the Tuesday class, but we are on there Monday through Thursday with other trainers.
Yeah, so all of us are jumping on there, and so that's one of my goals too, is to be more involved in that. So that's really good content if you're driving kids to school or whatever. It's like 30 minutes, 8 Central to 8:30 Central. So jump on the Clubhouse. Mark just reminded me because we were just talking about that the other day. So awesome. What are some other goals?
Mark, I'll add on, if you want to do some of that stuff and you want video content, we do a lot of that same stuff with Opus clips from the podcast. So let's say you're talking about that 2-1. we'll find where that clip is that you talked about, the 2-1, so you have some short content and you can get it back out to your database as well.
Matt, we should connect because I listen to podcasts all the time, especially when I'm driving, versus the radio. I'm a big fan. I've never done them. Not that I couldn't do them, but I don't have the tech. I don't know how to do them, where to go for that. So maybe I'll connect with you offline about it. You said you're 2 Matts and a mic. Is that your podcast?
2 Matts, 1 market, and then that's the one I do with a lender, and that's gonna be more kind of like interviewing agents and bringing them on and doing a thing with lender because that's his way of business or his way of lead generation. Obviously, lender wants more of us. But Todd Bailey and I are also going to be starting a podcast that we'll be doing every single Tuesday that will be bringing on just EXP agents. And that'll be another good one. And that one it's going to be called Inside the Collective.
Nice. Yeah, that's great.
Vanda said she does Ask the Experts podcast once a month too in Houston, so they'd love to have guest speakers. Cool. I'm going to put this in our group so people can always reference back to it. Cool. Love these goals. I am horrible at setting goals because I'm really reactive, if I'm being very transparent. But this year I made my kid give me his 3 personal and his 3 professional goals. And I was like, well, shoot, if I'm telling you to do that, I need to do the same. So for me, what I recognize, I was telling somebody on the Hive call the other day, like Januaries are tough for me because December's usually, you're just kind of in burnout mode. Januaries are burnout mode for me just because I run really, really hard to the end of the day. I mean, my last closing was December 30th, and then I was on vacation and it wasn't a relaxing vacation. One of the kids that came with us on as a guest had this weird freak fall on the mountain and lacerated his spleen. And so, it was just all this crazy stuff. So the stress level and the tension and, was all there. And so January is kind of like my burnout mode, which I'm trying to avoid. But what I recognize, I was like, what gets me kind of in this? And social media has been one of my challenges. And so I'm just unplugging from social media for a while, like a reset. I just need to remove myself from that and focus on the things and put the things on my calendar that are important and be really strategic and clear on what I need to get done. And I'm getting systems and processes in place with a company called Block. I'll let you guys know how that goes because I am not system and processes oriented at all. I am a wing it. I have post-it notes everywhere. Like I've got to figure out better structure so that I can be more proactive, not reactive. So those are 2 of the things. And then I want to step back from production a little bit more this year. I say that every year, but I want to step back so that I can pour in and do more. I know, Brian, you've heard me for years say that, but it's so hard when you've built your business, it's all referral based. But I've realized I can't I'm serving way too many masters. That makes sense? Like I can't serve all my clients and serve all of y'all and create all these ideas and I want to create opportunities and rooms where we're all better together. And I can't do that if I'm spread too thin and I'm burned out and then I'm not good for anybody. And then personally, I haven't taken care of me. Right. I'm very, very, very good at taking care of everybody else and being there. But then I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't have any hobbies anymore. Like, what are my hobbies? And my kids are like, you don't have any friends. I was like, I have plenty of friends. They're like, they're all in real estate. I'm like, yeah, because my whole identity is tied up in real estate. So I'm going to step back. I'm going to get back in the gym. I'm going to start taking care of myself. And so I think those are things that are really important because if we don't take care of ourselves first, then we're not really operating at our best potential and we're not good for anybody else. So those are some of the things that I am doing, but I think he's on here. Brody, are you on here?
I am indeed.
Oh, that's why, because you don't have your name.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. So one of the things that I'm doing, and I wanted to bring Brody and his team in here really quick because this is a game changer. And I think in the new year, and we'll mastermind a little bit more on this too, but he's even earlier than we are. And so one of the things that I'm looking at is we are all really good at chasing shiny objects, right? Real estate agents are like, oh, I need to do this and I need to do that and I need to do all these things. And they're not always really beneficial to our business and they're not really helpful for serving our clients. And so I have known Brody for years. do the real estate due to EXP. I met him years ago because of EXP. He is not an agent. He's an entrepreneur. Like I'd like to say a serial entrepreneur and a serial smart entrepreneur. And he does really cool things that serve the real estate agent. I'm sorry, my dog's going nuts. That serve the real estate agent. I think so many companies and so many ideas out there are ways to kind of remove the real estate agent from the process, if that makes sense, right? And diminish our value. And I don't think real estate agents are going anywhere. And so people like Brody, when they're coming up with ideas that really arm us with the best resources and tools available, it gets me excited. So he has a I don't want to say product, but he has a program that I'm going to have him show us and share. The Austin people probably already know about this a little bit because we brought him in the Austin market pulse, but this is something I'm going to implement on all of my listings. Brody, I haven't even told you this yet, but I've been in 3 different listing appointments recently that
Yeah.
we're going to be launching in January, February. I didn't even have really much to show them yet. I just told them about what I'm going to provide as part of my listing package. And by the way, they don't know this, but it's saving me a whole lot of money on my end, and it's one stop shop in a way. They are so excited, and every single one of them told me, I've not heard of this before. Nobody else is doing this. I was like, no, nobody else is doing this, and it's going to give you a competitive advantage in the market. So Brody, I would love for you. Thank you for coming on really quick. I know you've got a million things going on at all times, so I appreciate the time with us. But I would love for you to introduce yourself and just share a little bit about Remark, and I'll give you sharing capability if you want to show them what it is. But all of my clients, whenever I have a listing, this is what I'm using, and it's a game changer.
Elizabeth, thank you so much for the introduction. I just have to obviously thank you for the friendship as well. We also have Parker Dunahay on here, our new.
Oh, hi, Parker.
So Parker's on here, so she'll fill in any gaps if I miss anything. But I'll share my screen here and I'll just rattle off. Let's see here. Share desktop. Okay, so can everyone see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. Let me switch that around. Okay, so I'll rattle off just a quick agenda, introduce you to the idea of Remark. We're going to walk through the enhanced Remark home profile. I'll do a short demo. And then I want to talk about the early adopter program, which is something that, is brand new. No one's seen this before. This is the first time, and then happy to take any questions. So the idea behind Remark is I wanted to create a platform that empowers agents to create value at every part of the home ownership journey. So from buying to owning to selling. And so to do that, we came up with this idea of a home profile. And so we partnered with Class Valuations to basically create, and I'll pull this up here. It becomes sort of like, you can think about like almost like Carfax for your home, okay? And so when you're listing a house, you have a whole bunch of different tasks that you have to kind of go through. And so we wanted to streamline that process to make the agent's life a little bit easier and to make it, even going back to the disclosure comment I think that Daniel made, a little bit more reliable in terms of what data is available. And so we partnered with Class Valuation to create this product. It's the first of its kind. And so you go through, when you place an order with Remark, you're going to set one appointment and you're going to get HDR photographs of the entire house. You're going to get a 3D tour. And if you want, you can get a walkthrough of the entire house. So pretty easy to use. Fly through, actually. Let me see if I can minimize this real quick. Oh, sorry. Did I stop sharing?
No, it's still there.
Huh. Let me see.
Hello.
That's better. Okay.
Yeah. Hello.
Let me share, minimize this. So you can go through and literally, you have a walkthrough of the whole house, all the things that you would normally have, and pay for. So these are like the easy ones, that you have to have no matter what. So, but we're taking a step farther. So not just that. So it's not just when it was built, bathrooms, everything else. This is literally a digital twin of your house. So you can look at every floor plan, You can look at interior details. You can look at the appliances. Literally, when they go through a class, they don't just measure every room. They measure every dimension of every room. They photograph every appliance. They catalog it. So you literally have your entire house in one place. So if you're going to stage the house, you know what's going to fit. If you're going to, basically have any issues with, disclosures, you're going to know every single inch of the house. And so it's really the first of its kind. So when you kind of go through and look at floor plans, like the dwellings, for example, you have a 3D model. Everything is completely, cataloged so that you have everything that you need. So you have your dwellings, you have your exterior appliances, everything is one place. So you can see the elevation, you can see, every wall, again, down to how much paint and primer you would need on a particular wall to paint it.
See, I think that's like the coolest feature, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Like that's really cool.
Yeah. So you have all of that just right at your fingertips. So if you go to, sorry, I keep like clicking the wrong thing. If you basically go through the entire process, you basically are mitigating all the risk. I mean, Parker, do you have anything you want to add in there?
Sure. Well, you kind of hit the nail on the head when you said from an agent's perspective, we could consolidate everything down to one phone call and one appointment. And at the end of the day, you end up with high-res photos, the walkthrough, somebody's measured the home in greater detail than we've ever done before. And they collect the data about the appliances and about the systems, as long as it's available for them to collect. So it helps us so much when we're disclosing, what the buyer might be buying, or if we're just trying to help the homeowner understand how to improve their property or maintain their value while they're the owner.
Exactly. And Parker, you and I had talked about this, but even people doing property management or, investments, things of that nature, where it's an ongoing process, that you have value in that process. And so here's one of the rooms. So you can look at dwelling, everything else, family room, kind of go through flooring area, exactly everything, wall calculations, door calculations, living room. So this is way more data than you get with anything else, just way more. And so this becomes, sort of the launching pad to power all of our other features. So we have partnerships in the pipeline and current partnerships for everything from solar to transaction coordination, to legal, to insurance. Everything you need for, your career is in one place on the profile. And when you place an order for, a client, and I'll go back to the dashboard here for a second. When you place an order for a client, what happens is now you have your records. So for record retention, you have a record of the home. And so you have the most intimate details of the home that you can imagine. And, it's not just they have, a water heater, it's this brand, this model, it's going to expire in 2 years. So when you're doing your disclosures and you're actually looking at the house, you know up front everything you need to know so that you're not caught at the 11th hour having an issue, if that makes sense. And so here are some of our partnerships. So I'll go through and show you how to do this. But so say you want to do solar, you just choose. So you have home profile. So I want solar. Great. I'm going to put in, or my client does, 200, let's just say Rocky Mountain. And okay, well, now they're informed, more about the house, if it's steep or not. Go through and you can put through and get a quote for your client. And you could actually, for example, we designed this so the agents could use it themselves. So this isn't just something that you can use for a client. This has value for you. And it has value because, again, understanding everything you have in your home, God forbid something happens, you get robbed, or, unfortunately, if there's, a natural disaster or something of that nature, when you're filing your insurance claim exactly what you had. And so this, or if you go to Home Depot and you need to figure out how much paint you need, if you, go to the furniture store and you want to know if you can fit the couch through the door, we have all of that stuff right here. So I'm going to walk you through just really quickly how to do this. So once you create your profile, it's free to sign up. You're really just, as needed. You can pay for the products that you want. We don't have any subscription fees or anything of that nature. So if I go to maximize the value of my house, okay, I can go choose which house I want to do. And it takes literally less than 2 minutes. So I can decide what I'm looking at. So if you're a real estate agent, people can do it themselves if they're managing their own home. So, or if they're considering selling, they want to, obviously get their agent prepped up so that, you have as much value up front as well. So what do I want to do? Accurate pricing strategy, comprehensive selling advantage. One thing I didn't mention that's very interesting is we also offer a pre-listing limited scope appraisal, which does all of your comps for you. So that would be this one, but let's just go with this one for now. So you kind of walk through, you choose the square footage of the house. So if it's 3,000 or less, the price is the same. It goes up by $20 per 1,000 square feet, just because that's how it works. So go here. So you get everything I just told you about for $499. So you get the photos, 3D, and if you have the fly-through video, it's an extra $30. So you can do that optionally. So you just easily go through here, place your order, and the concierge service literally sets the appointment for you, and they come in and they basically do all this stuff for you. It's really, really easy to do. Parker, anything to add here?
Yeah, so Mary Jane, the company is Class Valuations, and they have connections to appraisers across the nation, but also data collectors. And so, Brody, maybe we want to pivot into explaining a part of Remark is how we can we're focused on bringing value and opportunity to agents between sales, and how maybe someone in your office, your admin, could become a data collector as well.
Yeah, so that's an offering. It takes about 4 hours. It's just a quick course. And so they can, if you had an assistant or someone else, they can actually go in and do it very quickly. And that would save you a fortune even on this. So from that standpoint, everyone has the same opportunity. And we really designed this to be, sort of a free marketplace. So everyone gets to, kind of showcase their own value. And we believe in that very much. And, we created the ability to sort of, so I'll touch on the early adopter program in a second, but through the program, we want to bring on as many folks as we can that will help us build out the product so that it's benefiting the agent and therefore benefiting the homeowner. And so throughout the home ownership journey, I view the agent as being sort of the guide through that journey. And, for people that already, maybe have a Remark profile, that'll just make your life easier when you go into list. So that's something we're excited about.
A piece that I was excited about when we were able to open it for agents or admins of agents to be able to become the data collector. When I was a trainer and a brokerage owner, one of the first things that I always got all new people to do is learn the market. And what better way to learn the market than actually go in the homes and collect the data on the houses. And as we think about buyer agency and especially new agents trying to prove their value, knowledge is always the best way to prove value. So I'm so excited about the things that Remark is bringing to help agents in moving forward. So
absolutely.
Yep.
And then another piece to this, I'll just touch on it, is the professional side of things. So we're building a professional marketplace so that, people can post services to, do your carpet. Well, what's really great is now the floor. So if someone comes in to redo your floors, they're going to be informed. And this is, incredibly important on the agent side, as people even go through that process, that the agent has this bonding connection to their client. And we did that through an invite process. So when you go to invite your clients, you're basically paired with them going forward. And so this is incredibly powerful. We're building a tool that we call Agent Admin, which is a collaborative feature between agents and their clients. So once you basically invite your client, you're going to be tagged with them, and anything that they need, you can be sort of, there for them in a way that's not annoying to them and not a hassle for you, if that makes sense. So this is the product, and we're pretty excited about it. It's just the beginning. So we've got a lot of other partnerships coming online that will be valuable in your day-to-day business.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So this is only for our clients, or whatever data, the company collects, will be shared online with, let's say, I representing the seller, and then, buyers out there, want to see all the details about the home. Will this be like on a website? Or is just only internal with your clients?
This is internal with your clients.
Okay.
So this is not a listing. This is, I'm glad you brought that up. So it's not a listing, it's a home profile. And so this is more of an intimate look. But when you go to create the listing, what happens when you place an order is you're going to receive all of the photos, all of the data, everything else. And that's going to allow you, and if you do the limited scope appraisal, maybe it comes back at 3 and your client wants 3.5. And you say, look, it says 3, that's what the market says, that's what an appraiser is going to say, but I'm so good, I'm going to get you 3.5. So this is an opportunity to showcase your value and to actually make more informed decisions with your client that keep you out of any liability or hot water. And then obviously you're keeping track of this, so you don't just know the market, you know the home. So it's a very different approach to it. But no, this is something where when you go to create a listing, you have the information, you can choose what to share. But if you're a buyer or if you're a seller, this is something that you'd want to know. If you're listing your house, you want to know where you might have some weak spots, because it's not good psychologically to list at $1 million and then people come in and find out there's issues with your fridge and your dishwasher and everything else. It's not worth $1 million anymore. It's worth less. So, and
exactly.
That's up in the air, right? So
yeah, that was actually my next question, just in case, any liabilities with what if, measures are not correct or whatever. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Exactly. And so understanding everything about the house is the most important part of the process, and that is the home ownership journey. We don't participate in the transaction part of it. That's up to the agent. And as Elizabeth knows, I've always been agent friendly first and foremost. And so when all the stuff happened, this last year, we got ahead of it and just said, look, let's create something that makes the agents' lives better. It's more affordable. I mean, most people probably spend more on just photos than what we charge for this entire service.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, a lot of us on here are listing agents, and I'm not even talking about my luxury properties. I'm talking about in general, I spend more on photos than all of this. And what I love about this, and Lizette, to your question, it's not external. However, we're taking the data and then we're going to easily, put it in our own marketing, like with my own branding or what have you. And so now I have a whole database of information that I can provide. I mean, how many times do you have an agent call you and say, hey, my clients want to go measure the rooms. My clients need to know all of this. My clients want to know, like, how cool to be, hey, you don't have to do I have all this stuff already for you. It's again, being ahead of it all, being ahead of the questions, asking the questions they don't even know they have. And I think it gives us a competitive advantage, not only for our clients, because now you have something that's valuable to them. I'm having this done on my own personal homes. Like, I don't even know the information that they're gathering because of insurance, or if something goes out, or how many times you're like, oh, I want to put something on that wall, and then you already have the measurements and things. Or think about the California fires right now. Like, what if you had this, which is devastating? What if you had this, you hand it over to insurance, like, you know exactly what was in your home, right? So you're not having to be reactive because you don't know what's going to happen. And so you're getting ahead of it. So my clients, that's why they love this. They're like, oh my gosh. I mean, Carfax for real estate is a really good way to put it. You've got everything on here. And then I can say, hey, Mr. and Miss Buyer or buyer's agent, I know your clients are going to want to have a lot of information. Here's this information. Now that buyer's agent looks like a hero, because they don't have to say, hey, I've got all this from the listing agent. They can say, oh yeah, I found this information out, right? It's how you spin the conversation. But everybody wins in that situation, and nobody is doing this. I'm doing this on every single one of my listings moving forward.
Absolutely. And, people don't know what water heater they have, but that might matter at some point, right? So when you can see, here's my grill, here's all the stuff I had, it's incredibly important. And even for the solar companies to come to your house, they're doing solar, if they know this stuff coming in, they can get you a better price because they don't have to spend the time to go figure it out. And so, we're able to do a lot of things that are, a lot more efficient. And then for you, it helps you stay closer to your clients. It helps you stay more informed. You're going to make fewer mistakes. It's going to make your disclosures ironclad. And it's a great product in terms of, if you go on typical Zillow, these photos are as good as anything. And you get the 3D tour and you get the fly through video. And again, it's really not that expensive, and it's just part of something you have to do anyway. So it's something we're really excited about. And Elizabeth, if I have a couple more minutes, can I just walk them through the early adopter program?
Yeah, of course. I want to answer Randy's question really quick. Randy, I'm an investor. I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to do this on my personal homes, but I'm going to do it on all my investments because I actually think there's a bigger value there. Because as an investor, your water heater goes out, or, I mean, if you have multiple properties as well, or you have to paint when you're make ready, and I have all that stuff at my fingertips. I can just hand that over to my painter and say, hey, this is how much paint you need. This is what you're going to need to do. It just cuts out a lot of time, and it's time saving. And I think as an investor, that's just as important as financial savings.
And
Absolutely.
also, Elizabeth, I think when we're going for listings that maybe are older, outdated homes, and you know that you're in competition with new construction, having this information up front, you can quickly figure out what it would cost to kind of spiff up the house to be more competitive and get the best price.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is great. Are you guys in Florida?
it's everywhere. It's
Oh,
nationwide.
okay, great.
Yeah. So, just think about having a company come in to do carpet, right? And they just know they don't have to come in and measure. Or someone's going to redo your countertops. They know everything about it. And, when a homeowner does disclosures, a lot of times it's like, well, I have wood floors, but maybe it's composite. Maybe they don't really know. And then someone comes in and tells them it's something different. Again, psychologically, it's not $1 million home anymore. It's something less. You don't know how much less, but it's something less. And so, we're just really excited about the product. We wanted to create something that empowers agents. And then you can purchase other products for yourself through the platform as well. So if you need business insurance, if you want transaction coordination, we have a great partnership that connects all of your utilities as a concierge service that should be live hopefully next week. We just haven't pushed it live yet. It's ready. But it's a phenomenal, way to kind of run your business, and it just keeps you connected to your client. And we're not a portal. This is really an intimate thing. It's not something where you're searching for people or we're selling your folks for leads.
This can even be a closing gift for your
Yes.
buyers.
Absolutely.
This is amazing.
I was about to say that. So thank you. That's amazing because that literally is on my list of things to bring up. So this is your closing gift because you do it for when the buyer closes, you do this for them. Now you're connected and now you understand the inside of the new home. And so you're kind of front and center, going forward. So on that journey, so the journey continues, right? So starts when you list and sell, and then you buy something else, or et cetera, et cetera. So it's all about the home ownership journey. So that's where it makes sense. So we have this idea, and I have to give Parker credit for it, but creating more of an early adopter program. And so the program, and Elizabeth is, basically patient zero for this, which is phenomenal. But more or less, it's just a way where you can go in, basically create your account, but you do it through this link that's should be posted if Sean can post it in the thing. But basically, we have this set of detailed medical records for your house is one of the things because you can't use Carfax publicly. But you kind of go through here, gives you all the information, you sign up, and the goal here is, you bring on 10 of your agents or 10 people or 10 clients. So we have some goals for everybody. They're up here. But if you can do that, then what happens is you're eligible to get your own splash page. So we'll actually create a landing page for you that you can do client facing, you can do to build your line, you can do it however you want. But this is sort of what we did for just Elizabeth and a few other influencers. But it's actually really cool. So we would love to have everybody join. And then, this gives you, obviously access directly to me. So if you, go through, it makes it easy. It's really easy to invite. You get your own special invite link. And so the more people you have, the better off you're going to be. So the more contacts you have, based on, what I just said, is basically your influence. The more people you have, the more influential you are. And once you invite someone, they can't be invited by someone else. So and that's not a gimmick. We're not a gimmicky company. It's just so people don't get spammed.
So there's a question in the chat about photographers. They do hire locally, and that was part of what we were mentioning earlier, where the data collector, you can become a data collector for your local market, but they do already have, in most markets, they already have some contracts. And the time frame, Brody, if you want to talk about the time frame.
Yeah, the time frame so when you place an order, you're looking at like maybe a couple days to have it just, scheduled. Turnaround time, depending on where you are, is 5 to 10 days. So very similar to a typical photographer or typical, inspector or whatever. They're all kind of, in that time frame. So it's pretty efficient, unless if you're in Alaska, it's going to be a little bit different than if you're in Florida, but we have good coverage.
Well, and for me, I'm scheduling different people. So what I like is I'm not having to inconvenience my clients. For the record, guys, I have no involvement in this. Like, I'm not an owner, I'm not an investor, I'm not anything, just so you know. I just get excited with smart people doing really cool stuff that makes our life easier. So like I can tell my seller, hey, this is what's going to happen. We're going to schedule this. And then everything's done at once. I don't have to have them remove the dogs and the kids and have the house ready and all the things at multiple times for different people to come in and do different things. So I think it's really cool, and it's just more efficient. And like I said, their product is really awesome, and it's saving me a lot of time, but it's saving me a lot of money, and it's better than what I was able to provide in the past. So I'm excited about it. It's going to make my life easier. And when I'm talking about being more efficient with my time, this will free up a lot of that.
Absolutely.
I have a question. If my photographer wants to be part of this, can I just share this with them so they can be a data collector? And what link can I share with them? Because this is an amazing opportunity for a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we would do is, I'll obviously follow up with you, is there's just a link for class evaluation. And so they just go through and just basically do a course so that they're licensed. And so they can go in, they collect the data. Once the data is collected, and this goes back to the limited scope appraisal, as well as someone will do all of your comps for you, all of the market research for you. And so you have a second opinion that you can rely on. So once they do that, it just automatically gets sent to an appraiser as well, if that's something that someone wants to do. And I think Sean just posted Elizabeth's link in the chat. So to be a part of the early adopter program, which, you can become an influencer once you, basically have invited 10 people successfully, you get your splash page, and we'll obviously work with you personally no matter what. But you have to sign up through her link so that we know who you are.
So Brody, did you say for the data collectors, people that want to go in and get data in that way, that's kind of like, that's another income stream for agents, right? Am I hearing this right? So like if some agents do BPOs, some agents do all sorts of other things. Is that what this is too? If somebody wants to do this and add this to their.
Yes.
Cool.
They not only
That's
save
very
money,
cool.
They not only save money, they can make money doing it. So you'd be saving money on that end, and then you'd be getting, for an hour's worth of work, you'd be getting, or, a couple hours, you'd be getting, $100 to go do something for, your core business. So it just makes a lot of sense.
I have a question as well.
Sure.
So with Texas being a non-disclosure state, how much are you doing as far as you had mentioned something about this is as much time as getting an inspector and photos and all of those things. I know other states have more, they have to disclose all kinds of things and go look for, what's going on with their house to fix it. How does this work for like our state where we just have to disclose what we know?
Yeah.
This isn't an inspection though, right? This is just pulling the
No,
information that's part of the house, right?
no, this is not an inspection.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you mentioned something about inspection earlier.
Oh,
Oh,
no, I was
so-
just saying time frames of people coming to the house, like when you go book an appointment.
And,
Okay,
and
gotcha.
we are looking at adding home inspections as an offering, but it's not live yet. So, oh, and I wanted to say one thing, and I think Tanya, you had a question. Brody, you mentioned it earlier. We as agents, we're homeowners. So when you sign up, when you go to Elizabeth's link that Tripp and Sean have shared a few times in the chat, you sign up for yourself as an agent, but then sign up as a homeowner. Do this for yourself. And then think about, we talked about in the chat and here how it's a great closing gift for buyers agents. But what about your past clients? What about a reason to get in touch with people you've sold homes to before and come to the table with them with value to stay in the conversation with them so that you're front and center when they're ready to sell in the future.
So that's a cool idea because I was just talking to somebody yesterday that she does annual reviews with her clients, and I know a lot of people do annual reviews with their clients. Like that, this would be another good touch for those A+ clients or whatever. Hey, I've got this really cool program that I want to provide for you with your home valuation or whatever. I think it's really cool for a number of reasons, not just for the listing side. So that, to your point, that would be a good way to stay in touch with those people and they'll be your cheerleader for life.
Yeah, and that's where you get more, referral business and everything else as well, right? So there's a link on Elizabeth's page, just so you're aware, on how to invite. So it's interested in becoming a real Remark influencer, where we made inviting easy. It's that section. So if you're wanting to do that, follow those instructions.
Brian White has a good question. I know the answer to this because Brody, I've asked you this question a number of times, but Brian's saying, how are you doing all of this for $4.99?
I know. I don't know. It's crazy. We're crazy people. So
Brody is brilliant with operating very lean.
Yes.
He's, like I said, a serial entrepreneur. I've known him for years and all these different things that he does and in the real estate space. And yeah, I mean, you've figured that piece out, and I actually think that's a gift.
thank you. No, it's good. I mean, the more expensive one, if you want to get the appraisal, is 719, but that's just because you have that, workflow. So it just depends on, what the need is for your client, what the risk factor is you want to mitigate. But having a third party obviously verify and or, walk through what you're thinking, you're gonna probably not have deals fall through as often.
Yeah,
So,
and in my area, an appraisal is $700. So
So I mean,
again,
photography is too.
that's a good deal. Yeah.
And these are, I mean,
Yeah.
a buyer's lender is going to require an appraisal anyway. Right. I
Yeah.
mean, I think this is a situation where sometimes you're having a challenge with comps or you have a difficult seller that wants to look at different options, right? So you don't have to get in my opinion, you don't have to get the appraisal because the buyer's lender is not going to look at it anyway. It's just those extenuating circumstances where I need some more data to share. We all have those clients, right? And I think, or if you're questioning because it's a unique property, there's a lot of reasons to use it.
Yep. And the pre-appraisal, you can't take it to a bank or anything like that. It really is just to, better inform what you're doing. But that's why the home profile is really the centerpiece. It's really, if you're starting the home ownership journey, it's the first step. And then it informs every other decision that you make going forward. So that, if you want to do certain things, you're just going to know, okay, I can get a better home warranty rate. I can get better insurance rate. I can file an insurance claim because of a natural disaster, I mean, as horrible as that sounds, this is a value add, you know, to the point of this is a great present to give to, you know, someone as a closing gift. And then you're attached to the new house, you know it inside and out, you know, you get a report also, and they get a report. And so what's great about that is now you have all of your records are maintained. You don't have to worry about anything. It's phenomenal from that standpoint.
Well, and let's face it, nobody's planning on a natural disaster. Like they're not planning on that. So it's nice to have this information. Jenna has a really good question too. She's talking about privacy and security. How's the information being secured so homeowners and their families' property information is confidential between homeowner and realtor? And secondly, what happens to the information when the home is sold to someone else?
So what happens there is it basically stays in the hands of either the realtor, and through our new, you know, sort of feature, if you have a client, you can collaborate with them. So let's just say, for example, a client already had a home profile, they can attach the agent to help them either optimize it or manage it. So it doesn't, you know, you could, you know, as a gift, if you wanted to transfer it to whoever buys the home, but you know, you have all the options to choose. So, you know, in terms of data security practices, we, you know, obviously meet all the standards.
Cool. Awesome. Brody, team, Parker, Trip, Sean, Randy, everybody, thank you for coming in bright and early, because I know some of y'all are bright and early. This is super helpful, guys. Yeah, cool. So follow that link. Like I said, they will take care of you. If you have any questions, reach out to me as well. I'll put it in the tribe chat. Again, just it's another tool in our toolbox that sets us apart from other people. So thank you all for being here. Go ahead.
Oh, I put my personal number in the chat as well. So if
Oh.
anyone needs to call me, please do.
Okay,
And
cool.
I dropped some emails in. I think someone asked for how to reach us after this meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm going to put that in the tribe as well. In the
I'll
group
add
so
two
you
more
guys can
things.
back. Yeah.
I'll add two more things. Hi, my name is Randy. I'm at EXP, but I'm also at Class Valuation and Data Master, and we help set this up with Brody. And I can't tell you how amazing it is to work with this Remark crew. Obviously, Brody's the man. Parker, you're awesome. Obviously, we work together at EXP. Two things. Number one, this is an official property data collection that appraisers use. Okay, so if there's a desktop or a hybrid appraisal that can be done on this property, or even an appraisal waiver, this property data collection is official and will satisfy those. So if you have done this for your seller and a buyer comes in and with a qualifying loan type, conventional with 10% down at least, that is a qualifying loan type for a hybrid or a desktop appraisal. This can be given to have it done from a desktop, super fast turnaround, and speed up the whole transaction. Okay, if the lender will take it. And sometimes they'll even see this and just say, well, we don't even need the appraisal. We got everything we need. So yes, it actually can be used. And I want to make sure that you guys know that. So if you reach out to that buyer's agent and call them and say, hey, look, I have a property data collection from Class Valuation, which is America's #1 AMC, appraisal management company of the country. So you're probably going to want this.
Okay,
you know?
that's good to know. That's definitely good to know.
The pre-listing one is signed off and reviewed by an appraiser, a licensed appraiser. So it's really good data.
It's incredible data. The fact that we have this and we're offering this is so exciting. You guys don't even know. This is going to catch on real quick. And Elizabeth, you're amazing for seeing the vision and for setting up the call. Seriously.
Well, y'all are amazing for making our jobs easier. So there you go. Thank you guys for being here. I know we're a couple minutes over. Thank you for staying on. I am excited about the new year. So keep showing up, keep plugging in. Let's lift each other up as we're climbing through the 2025 year. Next week, every Friday, put this on your calendar. Every Friday we have huddle. So next week, Leo Pareja's coming in. So don't miss it. Feel free to bring some guests if you want, but bring some questions. Let's make it really interactive. And until then, y'all have a great week.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Elizabeth.
Of course. Thanks, guys. See you soon.
All right. Talk soon. All the best.
Well, thank you.